All right, Greg Remmenga joins us today for some more free legal advice. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We're going to talk more about workers' comp and more of the medical side of things, and maybe a couple things to look out for.
Right. Well, let's just start with the law that says when you're injured, your employer is required to provide you with 2 doctors that you can go see.
Right.
That has to be given to you in writing within 7 days of your injury.
Okay.
Now, some of the things that have been happening locally that cause me some concern is employers driving you to one of those doctors. If the employer is giving you a list but yet driving you to one of those, do you really have a choice of which doctor to go see?
Right.
A lot of employees may feel the pressure that they now have to go to the doctor that their employer drove them to.
That makes sense.
So that eliminates the choice because you're kind of forced to go to where your employer drove you.
Absolutely.
Another thing that creates a concern is if the employer is driving you to a particular clinic for the care, how well do they know the clinic, and are they providing care to you, or are they providing care to you on behalf of your employer in a manner your employer wants you to?
Okay.
There has to be a reason the employer is driving you to that clinic.
Right.
Obviously, the clinic is giving the employer some information, some care, something that benefits the employer. Otherwise, they wouldn't be quite so readily driving you to that place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's a concern when they drive you to a place.
Okay. Is that common practice for the employer to drive the employee to a certain doctor, or?
It happens in a lot of the industries, especially the oil industry, that the safety manager drives you to a particular clinic.
Okay. That makes sense.
Another thing that happens is if they know the clinic very well, the clinician and the employer who's allowed to sit in on the medical examinations, they start having a conversation as if you are the child and they're deciding your treatment and they're discussing your treatment, and the clinician isn't really focusing on you.
Right.
I think that's a concern.
Okay.
And the final thing that I wanted to talk about is oftentimes the clinician will tell you something during the treatment. Make sure that whatever they tell you is on the paperwork. If they give you work restrictions, make sure those work restrictions are written on the paper.
Okay.
I've had situations where they say, you're not allowed to go back to work, but you look at the paperwork and it says, released to full duty. That can create a serious problem because you may not get your disability benefits, or when it comes down time for the final treatments, they might question why you've been out of work when it says you're released to full duty.
Sure. And you're just saying, hey, the doc told me, but
That's
if
right.
it's on writing, then it's not legally bound technically then, or?
It creates a fight.
Okay.
I think that most people can overcome the fight, but it creates a fight that you don't need. Make sure that it's written down.
Right, absolutely. All right, thanks so much, Greg. If you have any questions for Greg or want a free consultation, feel free to contact him with that info right there on your screen. We'll be right back.